Welcome to the Republic of Kyle. So, I was inspired by the World Cup, and particularly the Scottish Tartan Army takeover of Boston. And Boston's where I grew up, so I have some idea of what may be happening and how it's been so welcomed by the people of Boston. I have like a peacock here. And what what we need to do is have regular, like uh like when you had an exchange student, or like the combination of an exchange student and a pen pal when we were growing up. And you know every year on like the, I guess it used to be like Oktoberfest or something, but like different countries will make deals to come to the, at least the US, or go to Australia. Like US and Australia will do it for 1 year, and then Scotland and Greece will do it, and Turkey and Ireland, and they'll go, in the fall, Turkish people will go to Ireland, and in the spring, Irish people will go to Turkey, and they'll make like a, you make like a website before, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm interested in showing you around Turkey, and we could do like cities, U.S., but they can be like Boston or Atlanta and Dublin, and just like a tour of basically coming for the World Cup, but bring the whole Tartan Army, even in off years, right, next year. So whenever the World Cup is, it's every 4 years. Just happens every year now from now on. We don't need a sporting event. We could just get together and drink a ton of beer, or do whatever you do in that country. You know, the Chinese and Americans would be a great one. I mean, we saw what happened with the Koreans and the Mexicans. I mean, they're loving each other. It's all just love and joy. It's really just, we just need to get to know each other again in community. And that's what the great thing about, the few Americans who get to travel, is that we do recognize that. But when you're just like one or two travelers, it's hard to get really into the vibe of the city. Whereas if you know that, like, you could have a website or something where you can already be like, hey, I'm coming. I'm really into seeing museums. You know, and having sex with Swedish girls. So let's all go to Sweden. There's definitely an element of that. The Bostonian guys are getting run out of town by the Scottish men, and the Boston girls are making those Scottish guys welcome, which is awesome. That's the way it is. But and we could even do like a housing exchange where, like, you know 20 to 30 year olds are all from America are going to China, and then like 40 to 50 year olds are coming to America and staying in like the 10 to the 20 to 30 year olds apartments, and you just switch it. Maybe that's not such a great idea, but the idea of the culture exchange, though, is what I'm talking about, and I think that we've shown that. I mean, it's been crazy to see, like, people, like Scottish women being like, "I thought we were gonna be arrested by ICE." Like, they don't realize that that's just like, that's definitely happening here, and we have to keep more awareness to it. But it's not happening like at the World Cup, and for most people, unfortunately, it's happening for, like, black and brown people, which is actually most people. But it's not happening in New York. It's not really happening in Boston as much as I know, as it's happening in like L.A. and California and Minnesota's, like, do an exchange to Minnesota, and maybe they'll see the bad parts of it, of the U.S. as well, and we'll be embarrassed by it, which we are, 100%. But all power to the people, and all love to the people, which is why we're going to encourage these, not just travel, but group travel. Like 70,000 people will travel from America to China or America to Sweden. I like the idea of Sweden or Latvia, or Albania. To my Albanian brothers, they could come over here and ice will be done in like 3 days. Those those people, they basically are leading the charge against the Kushner IDF real estate development. So that's what we're talking about. Humans getting to know humans in the future. And it's going to be awesome. Like that will be part of like it won't even count as your vacation. You'll still have your regular vacation. This will be like your cultural duties of the United States. So we could put some tax money to it instead of buying missiles. Be like, instead of doing like Mormon missionaries, you'll just be like, every 4 years, a different 70,000 people get to go from a city or something. And then they contribute like, 10%, and the government pays 90 for cultural revolution fund. Which, if we stopped making war, we'd probably have funds for that, because we certainly would have funds for healthcare and education and housing. So that's where we're headed, folks. That's where we're headed. Because you could see the love. The Tartan Army is loved. The Koreans are loving the Mexicans. The Americans are loving everybody. That's what it is. We're here to be loved in love.